Hi, welcome to HowtoDandD. My name is Fred Wheeler and today I want to talk about Dungeons & Dragons 5e, and today we're going to build a character. We're going to build a Druid. Now I'm going to be using D&D Beyond, which is a website which you will find the link to down in the description so you can access that. I am using the free version. You do not need to pay for anything that I'm doing today, so don't think that I'm not being paid by D&D Beyond or anybody else to do this. I just think this is a good way of demonstrating how to build a character rather than just opening a player's handbook and getting some bits of paper and a pencil. So first thing is, you'll need to make sure you have a Twitch account. I've said this before. Get yourself a Twitch account so you can access this website and use the tools on it. We're going to go to the top and the menu. It says character or characters. We're going to go to the builder. So hit the builder option. And of course it's going to load up. Now, druids are a combination of magic, combat, and a lot of skills and healing. So it's pretty versatile, really. And they are sort of all about the power of nature and preserving the balance of nature. So I'm going to use, rather than randomized quick build, we're going to use the standard step-by-step version. So click the button to show the text help as we go. And then load that up. Okay, now it's going to go over the basics of character building and all of the background stuff that you want to create in your own character build is really up to you. What we're going to do is you'll see it's laid out here: race, class, abilities, description, equipment, and what's next. All of these are the steps that we will use in building a character. So go to next. Okay, so I'm going to turn off the homebrew content so that you don't need to worry about having to pay for anything. We're not going to use any critical role content, which you can turn on or off depending on what you want. No playtest or unearthed arcana material, nothing from Eberron, so it's all very basic, very easy to access. It gives you the option to change the advancement type. I've gone over this before. So milestones or XP, I'm going to change it to XP. I'm going to confirm that. If your Dungeon Master uses milestones, then leave it on milestones. Encumbrance, you may or may not use encumbrance. That's up to you or your Dungeon Master, or you might use the variant rules. I'm going to just leave it on use encumbrance for now. And I'm going to turn it on. It says here, ignore coin weight. I'm going to leave that on for now. Alright, hit points. Now you can roll for your hit points. That's why it says manual entry. So you roll your dice, get your hit points, and enter it manually if you want to. Otherwise, the fixed option is just the average that's listed in the player's handbook. So I'm going to leave it on fixed, so it's pretty average. Ability score, modify display. So what I want to do is, instead of having the ability score shown as at the top in big, I want the modifier, because the modifier is what you use the most. So we'll leave it on modifier, and then the character privacy, I'm going to leave it on public. So I don't want to sort of hide this from anybody. We're going to create a name, so you can type in your own name here where it says Frederick Wheeler 129 if you want, or you can just randomly generate by pressing the random generate button. So we'll do that now. Fenskara, no, we'll go again. Panera, one more time. Oh god, it's even worse. I couldn't even pronounce that. Kelsey, that'll do. And now we can pick a face or a thumbnail by just clicking on that little icon with a plus on it, and then cycle through. I'm probably going to go with something like a wood elf for today, so we're going to just pick a wood elf, and let's pick a female wood elf. Here we go, that'll do. There's our character. We've started the process, it's all ready to go. We move on to the next step. Okay, now it talks about races, and you select your race first before you select your class, but it's always a good idea to have a basic idea of how it's going to work. Breaking it down into ability scores, you always get some bonuses around that, what sort of age they might be, alignment, size, speed, languages, sub-races. As always, all that sort of stuff is pretty basic. Go next, and we're going to select our race. So there are 3 races with the free version that you can go for. There's the Ladrin, the High Elf, and the Wood Elf. And we're going to go with the Wood Elf. So we'll click there. Gives us a breakdown. So we're going to get a +2 to Dexterity. We're going to get Dark Vision, so we can see in the dark. Keen Senses, Fey Ancestry, Trance. I won't even go through near Trance for now. And those are the benefits for our class. which is our race, sorry. So that's not too bad. And it then goes over sort of roughly sort of what sort of age you can expect them to be. Between 100 and 750 years old is sort of, you know, your typical elf. So what we're going to do is pick something over 100 at some point. Alignments that they might have, speed, dark vision, and it keeps going on and on. If you keep scrolling down, it breaks down everything and how it all works for you. Mask of the Wild. Okay, hitting choose that. Okay, so we've done that. It's given us a breakdown. As I said, it gives you a breakdown of each of those features. Now, we should also be getting access to, with a Wood Elf, we should be getting access to Wisdom as well. Don't know why it's not saying that. It should hopefully come up shortly, because it's probably a good idea to have a high Wisdom with a Druid. Mask of the Wild, no, okay. So we'll just skip and move on. Class, we're going to pick our class, which is going to be Druid. Okay, so go down to Druid. There it is. Gives us a breakdown, shows us how it works. Primary ability is Wisdom. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go for Wisdom, Constitution, and then I'm going to select something like probably a bit of Dexterity, or maybe even Wisdom, just so that I can have a better perception score. Okay, so you can wear armor as a Druid, so they can wear armor, but they don't wear anything made of metal. That's the only thing you need to be aware of. And they have tool proficiency with herbalism kits. They have clubs, daggers, darts, javelins, maces, quarterstaffs, scimitars, sickles, and slings and spears as their weapons if you want. Saving throws, intelligence and wisdom, and you get to choose 2 skills from either arcana, animal handling, insight, medicine, nature, perception, religion, and survival. Okay, alright, so we've got all that, and then it breaks down. We're going to get access to Druidic. This means we can speak the secret Druidic language, and it allows you to leave messages and communicate with other Druids, and nobody else knows exactly what you're talking about, which is kind of fantastic. There is an opportunity to try to determine if you can figure out a message that's been left behind by making a perception check. But let's not let anybody know that, shall we? Okay, you get access to spell casting at first level, and Wild Shape won't be covered today because that's a 2nd level feature. All the rest of the features as you get level up are in here, so you can actually see how they work. Moving on. Okay, so there we go. Alright, so there's our... So first off, let's have a look. We're going to only be going with level 1, but you can select and build your character at any level you like, or you could go through progressively and level it up 1 step at a time. We've got our hit points, which are going to be pretty standard. At first level, we only get 8 plus our Constitution modifier. So instead of rolling a dice, you just get 8 plus your Constitution modifier. Later on, you can roll dice or take the average for your hit points, and that would be 5 plus your Constitution modifier after level 1. Alright, so now we're going to select some proficiencies. We get to choose something. That's why it's got a big exclamation mark there. So a couple of skills. We're going to go with nature. Seems like a sensible thing to pick up. So we know something about nature. And we're going to go with, where were we going to go? We're going to go with, I was going to grab something else, but I don't want to pick that one. I don't want to pick, we'll go with survival, shall we? We'll go with survival. We could go arcana. We could go with animal handling. Let's pick animal handling, shall we? Haha, we've picked one. Right. First level gives our breakdown on that skill, which we've already talked about. Our spell casting, and then the higher levels gives you all of that. So you can keep looking over those things as you're building the character. There is obviously a section on spell casting. Now, known spells and spells that you would get. At level 1, you're not going to get a lot of spells, but you will get some. So we'll have a quick look here. So we're going to get access to 2 cantrips, and we're going to also get access to a whole bunch of first level spells that we can prepare. Now, what I'm going to do is simply pick my cantrips now, and we're going to come back and we'll deal with the first level spells later once we've done our ability scores, because that actually changes how many spells we can prepare in any given day. So our first one, we're a Druid, let's just learn Druidic Craft, and one more, Shillelagh. We'll pick up Shillelagh. Pretty good spell. We could pick up other options if we really wanted to, but I think those will do for now. Okay, so that's good. And then moving on, I think we have selected all the options we need to. We're going to come back to our first level spells later. Don't let me forget, remind me if I forget. Okay, it's time to do our ability scores. Now, there are 3 ways that you can build your character. You can use manual entry, where you roll dice and then enter the scores and manually enter them in yourself, or you use the point buy system, or you can use standard array. Now, I used the standard array system last time. I'm going to use the point buy system this time. So I'll go next. And what is our calculation method? We're going to go with point buy. This is when you get given a certain number of points which you allocate. You get 27 points to allocate as you see fit. So remember, it's wisdom. We want to have our highest score as wisdom. And so I'm going to pick up wisdom now. I'm going to put quite a few points into wisdom. So I'm going to go with 15. And then constitution is supposed to be our next sort of highest score. So I'm going to go with a 14. And our dexterity, we're going to get a modifier to that already. I want to sort of improve my ability to avoid taking damage and using a ranged weapon. I don't really want to put my druid in up at close, so I'm going to pick a fairly high score in that. I'm going to get a 2 to it anyway, so we'll go with a 12. Now we've got 7 points left, so then we just add them in. We'll just make our strength pretty average, and we'll make our intelligence fairly average as well, and the charisma can be, let's see, we'll go with 10. Go with 10. No, we'll go with 11. There we go. So I've used all my points remaining. Now if you try to go higher, so if I try to pump in more, oh, it's not going to let me. That's interesting. Can't go any higher. Okay, because I've used all my points, so I can't access any more. A good feature as far as I'm concerned. Okay, so it breaks it down now that we've selected our scores. Our strength is 10. There's no extra modifiers to that. Dexterity is going to be 14 because I selected a 12, but we get a +2 because of our racial feature. So racial bonus is +1, so it's going to go to 14. I got a 14 in Constitution. The base score is 14. And why have I got the modifier? That's just the modifier. Forget about that. No racial bonus to that one because that's what I picked. And then here, intelligence, I picked a 10. There's no modifiers to that, so it stays 10. I picked a 15 as my base score for wisdom, and I get a modifier because of being a wood elf of +1 to wisdom. So that means my total score for wisdom is 16. I'm aiming for getting a fairly high score on that. And then I selected 11 for charisma, and there's no modifiers, and so that's 11. So that's all done, all ready to go. Now I can continue on if I wanted to, or this is a good time to go back, and you can go back and sort out your first level spells. So if I go back to class, okay, there it is, spell casting, select it, and I think I might have to, there you go, spells, and we're going to go known spells. We're going here, and I want first level, select them. Now you get a certain number of spells that you can prepare per day with your druid, and that is based off this formula. It's your wisdom modifier plus your druid level, and you have to have a minimum of 1 spell prepared. It can't be, even if you had a minus in there and you did the calculation, you're going to have at least 1 prepared. Okay, so my wisdom is a +1, +3 for the modifier. Wisdom modifier +3. Druid level is 1, so I get 4. So I'm going to select 4 spells that I will prepare. So we'll go through and have a quick look at what we've got. One of the good spells for this particular class, like any class, is obviously something like Detect Magic. So I'm going to pick Detect Magic. I'm going to cycle through here. Good Berry is a very good spell. Healing Word is even better because you can do it at range and heal somebody. And I'm also going to pick up Speaking with Animals. I'm going to stay with the theme of being sort of an animal and nature loving individual. So there's our spells all prepared, and it's done. Very, very simple. Okay, so continuing on. We had got to description. We're going to do our background next. Okay, so the sources. What sort of sources? Look, I had selected and changed the access to sources, so there's not a lot of options. You'll notice here that's very, very limited in terms of what you can select. I could be an acolyte, a criminal spy, a folk hero, a noble, a sage, a soldier. All of these are options, or a haunted one. I don't think it's really going to fit very well. A hermit is a good background to select, but I didn't access that particular feature with the at the very beginning, back in the home section. Now we could change that, but there's a chance that you might have to pay for it, so that's why I've not selected the hermit. So I'm going to go through, and I think we'll have a just sort of a test run. We'll go with a sage and see what that's going to look like. Okay, so we get Arcana and History as our proficient skills, or we could go with a Noble, sort of talky, or we could go with Folk Hero or Acolyte. We'll go with, I think we'll go with Acolyte and see if that's going to work for us. Okay, Insight and Religion, Sage or Acolyte. I think we'll go with the Acolyte, the Sage. Okay, back to there. All right, I've made a decision. Okay, so you get to select a couple of languages, which is always nice. Already know Common, should know Elf or Elven. Going to have access to Druidic languages as well. I could access anything I wanted. So I'm going to pick up for now. I'm going to go with something that sort of fits for me, and I'm going to go with Celestial Beings, and choose one more language because I get another one to select from. And we're going to go with Sylvan. Okay, alright, so we're done. Now, that means we're really good at researching. Now, that doesn't mean, just because I've selected Sage, doesn't mean that I go and spend my time hanging out in a library or a sanctum of some kind. I can be picking up and researching anywhere. I might be researching in the wild, for all you know. Alright, selected characteristics. This is where we get to start filling in the character, giving it personalities, ideals, bonds, and flaws. Now you can type these in yourself. You can go back and edit these features. Okay, you can just pick the one you like. I'm going to just do 2 random. It says select 2, so I'll do 2 randomly. I selected it at 5, so that is I'm willing to listen to every side of an argument before making my own judgment. Okay, so pick one more. Okay, that's number 1. I use Okay, so I talk in big words, basically. I don't really like the idea of that particular feature. I'm going to edit this one out a little bit later on. I'm going to go down and I'm going to select our ideal. I'm just going to pick one randomly, just faster. 2. Beauty. What is beautiful points us beyond itself toward what is true. Okay, I don't really understand that, but for the sake of this, I'm just going to keep going. Bonds. Random. It's number 3. I work to preserve a library, university, monastery. What I'm going to do is going to probably edit this as well. Okay, flaws. Pick a flaw. I speak without thinking through words, inevitably insults. Well, we might change that as well, but we'll see how we go. Okay, so now that we've done our selection, we can go through here and have a look at some of the details that we need to fill in. So the character details, starting with alignment, I'm going to go with something like neutral good, and then I can pick a faith. For now, I'm actually going to leave this area vacant. You can enter something else in, whatever you like, at a later date if you want to. Not going to be a problem. I'm going to pick my chosen lifestyle. I'm going to say would it be squalid or poor? I'm going to go with poor for now. And now that we've selected those, we can go into our physical characteristics. So we're going to go with, I believe, here is going to be blonde. And skin is, let's go with olive. Eyes, we'll go with blue. We could go with green, couldn't we? Green, let's go with green. Height, we'll make our elf fairly tall. Let's go with 6. 5 foot 11 inches. Okay, weight, I'm going to make it fairly light, so let's go with, what's a suitable number? Let's go with 70 pounds, or maybe more like 68. That'll do. I don't think it's going to really matter that much. Our age, we're going to go with 125. Gender is going to be female. And okay, so all of the physical characteristics have been done. Now we're going to jump into our personal characteristics. Here they are. Now these are the things I randomly selected, but I can edit them. There's a little button right here, which means I can press them and go in and do some editing, which is exactly what I'm going to do. Okay, I'm willing to listen to every side of an argument before making my own judgment. We'll leave that. And this one here, I'm going to put here, I'm going to just remove this. I talk very slowly and say little. So a quiet character. And it'd be unusual for there not to be a quiet character in the in the group. There's always somebody who's the quiet one, right? Okay, so I've changed that. You can see I edited that. Ideals, beauty. What is beautiful points us beyond itself toward what is true. I will leave that. I don't like the bonds, so I'm going to get rid of that. And I'm going to say I work to preserve the natural order and balance, something like that, or you can put whatever you like in. Okay, so that's been edited. And then flaws. I speak without really thinking through my words. I'm going to get rid of the second part because I want it to be not quite so much about insulting, but more that I speak. There we go. That's all. I speak without really thinking through my words. That's very general. I can do whatever I like with it as a flaw. Okay, so now it's notes. So here you can add notes for your organization. So what would be a good one? The Emerald Enclave is very nature based, so we'll pick them. Allies, let's say my pet, say my panther. And oh, did I just spell that wrong? There you go, panther. Hit that. Go down to enemies. I'm not going to worry about putting in any enemies for now. I can put my backstory in here if I want to, but I'm not going to worry about that. So that's all done. We are ready to move on to equipment. Now there's a couple of ways you can select equipment. You can go with starting equipment, which is usually probably the smartest way to go, or you can go with just starting gold. We're going to go to the starting equipment. So I want just to go straight with equipment. Now it gives you some things you can choose. So I can choose a wooden shield or a simple weapon. I can choose a scimitar or any simple melee weapon. So what I'm going to do for now is going to go with a shield, and I'm going to go with a scimitar just to keep things nice and simple. Now if I were to not select the scimitar and I go with a simple weapon, it opens up an option to select the weapons I would like to have. So if you wanted to have a quarterstaff, you can, okay, or a great club. But just for now, I'm going to just go straight with scimitar. Okay, now I need to select some armor. Now remember, can't wear anything that is made of metal. And I also get to select a Druidic focus. So I'm going to start with leather armor, an explorer's pack, and a focus. Now I get to, what was this? This is, sorry, bear with me while I have a look. Starting gear. Alright. What have I done? I might have pressed the wrong button. Oh, there it is. Okay. So, it's included all that. I also get to select something else. Now, I can use anything I like as my focus. I can have a sprig of mistletoe, It could be a totem, it could be a wooden staff. I'm going to go with something fairly simple. We'll go with the sprig of mistletoe, and that's done. Sage starting equipment is already selected, so that's all done too. I can also select some additional starting gear because I have a pouch with 10 gold pieces. So I'm going to go with add starting equipment. I always like to add a healer's kit to my gear. Okay, so that's done. Where are we? We want to go to active items, add an item, so plus here. This will give us a, so I'm going to just type in healers. There you go, it's down there, it's shown up, it's nice and quick. Add that, that's added in, cool. Alright, so that's done, and we are probably ready to go on. Okay, now I can export the character sheet, that means print it if you need to, or I can view the character sheet. But one of the things you'll find when I go to view, which I'll do now, is that you'll see that the armor class and some of the features are not available. So your weapons are not equipped, your armor's not equipped, and so I need to go back and do some adjustments. So I'm going to go back into my content, my characters, and we're going to make some adjustments. Okay, alright, and there it is, there's our Druid. There's an option to view, edit, copy or delete. You can only have a maximum of 6 characters with a free version. I'm getting pretty close to it. I'm going to have to delete something pretty shortly. So I'm going to edit, so jump into edit. Okay, so we want to go to equipment and cycle through to there, and we should have our inventory here, so we'll pull that up and it should show us everything that we have. So we need to wear the leather armor for us to benefit from it, so put it on. So I'm wearing it. I need to equip the shield if I want to have a shield put into the calculation for armor class, and I need to have the scimitar active as well for that to be effective. So that's all done. Now if I continue on, you should see that it's all been recalculated correctly. You can add magic items if your Dungeon Master allows you to have magic items this early. You can plonk them into here if you need to. We're not going to worry about that for now. And then view the character sheet. Okay, it should be coming up. Alright, there you go. So our armor class is not a 12, it's now a 15. It takes into consideration our leather armor and the shield that we're carrying. It breaks it down so you can see what options we have in terms of attacks. It will give us our spell casting abilities as well. So along the top are all the modifiers for your abilities. As you can see, our proficiency, our walking speed, which is 35, how many hit points we have, our initiative score, all of our skills. Any skill that has a black dot is something we are proficient with. Okay, that's already tied in. And we are proficient with perception, which is nice. We also have access to all of our saving throws. Any saving throw with a black dot is something we are proficient with. We have our passive perception or passive wisdom, which is 15, a passive investigation, which is 10, and our passive insight, which is 13. Okay, armor proficiencies, weapon proficiencies, tool and language proficiencies, all listed here. So pretty much everything is here. Now if we want to go and have a look at other things that we might have access to, we can go to spells, and it will break it down. It will show you the range, what sort of time it requires. Is it a bonus action? Is it an action? Is it cast as a reaction? None of these spells are. And yes, that's sort of helpful to you. If there's an attack modifier for it, it's listed there. If there's a damage type and how to calculate damage, it's listed right there. And that's pretty much it. It's not too difficult. Equipment, you can pull up your equipment and see what's going on here. Different features are all listed, and it explains how they work and what page they are on if you need to read the full explanation. Any details we have on our character, and some notes. So we'll go back to actions. Our attacks, you can separate it from everything else so you don't have all the information all at once. It gives us a few actions that we have available, including an unarmed strike if we want to use that, what bonus actions we might have access to, and any reactions, which is pretty standard. Okay, so that pretty much covers the whole process of building your Druid at level 1, and you certainly can level it up from here. Now, if you found this helpful or informative or useful in some way, please consider subscribing to my channel, or certainly like and share the video with other people would be really helpful. If you like this sort of content, I'm going to be doing more videos where I build characters, mostly at level 1 for different classes. So consider subscribing, hitting the bell button to be notified when I go live and when I publish a new video. As I said, this video will get edited down fairly quickly, so it's accessible without the front and the back of this live stream. If you want to support my channel, you supported my channel by watching this video, and I have to thank you for doing so. Also too, I have many more videos that you might find useful, so consider looking through my playlists and see if there's something you might find useful, and that'll continue to support me so I keep doing videos like this. I don't do Patreon, but down in the description you will find affiliate links to the book depository and Amazon where you can buy stuff online. I get a small commission, you know the deal, and then you pay exactly the same price. Go through the link, buy what you want. You do not have to buy the thing I have linked to. Okay, now this is your opportunity in the live chat, if you're part of the live chat, to ask some questions, give me some feedback, let me know what you think, or just say hi. I'm fine with that too. I always like responding to people who say hi. How you doing? If you're not part of the live stream though, that's what the comments section is all about. So go down in the comments and you can give me your questions, your feedback, and anything you might want to add or share with me. Okay, that's all I have for today. So till next time, keep rolling those 20s.